Dude, I have an eyelash, and I have one eyelash and one eyebrow that will literally like
grow.
It gets like, it's like a mega brow. If you could somehow get the genetics out of it, you'd be a millionaire, because all these, just one. And I mean, I'm not kidding you. It'll curl down, and then it'll start getting in my eye, and then I cut it. All right, you ready? You want me to open this, or you're gonna?
Oh, I can open it.
All right, let's go. Short and sweet, to the point. Oh, there's a cowbird out on the post. Oh, nice. Here we go. Another interruption by wildlife. Yeah. Sorry.
Maybe we can have
and a bluebird.
Blue jay.
Blue jay.
It'd be cool if the bobcat came strolling by.
Oh, a couple mourning doves. Wonder what they're mourning today.
In 2019, we began to build our dream.
But the journey started long before you were invited to watch.
We walked a path that spanned nearly 2 decades.
There were times of joy, pain, and everything in between.
Our lives have completely changed, and we're ready to tell you how it happened.
We're not holding back.
Our mistakes, regrets,
what we wish we could change, our best decisions.
And if we do it again, you'll hear it all.
Come back in time with us behind the camera and answer the question, is self-building worth it?
Welcome back to today's episode of Is Self-Building Worth It? We are going to cover porch costs. I'm really excited about this video.
Yeah, and this will just go over the materials that it takes, break it down into, I believe, a linear foot to give you kind of a rough idea of what it would cost you to add something on to your home.
Yes, this series, it covers our personal home build, which is called the Mad County. You can find this plan and a lot of other stock options at back40buildings.com. We offer stick, steel, and post frame Barndominium plans. We have a full custom design service as well. So check it out. You can get all of the information that we talk about in today's video in the description.
Yeah, and if you want to self-build or self-GC, you should check out our Patreon group. It's for people just like you. It's a great community, other self-builders, self-contractors. We talk about different building topics. You get to ask us questions. We do lives. We bring special guests on occasionally. I mean, it's turned out to be a really, really great community.
Yeah, there's discounts on some of our resources, so it's definitely worth the money. It's very inexpensive to join, so we look forward to seeing you over there.
So let's go ahead and jump into this cost breakdown, and we'll see what I have to say. I'm sitting in there with my notepad. Well, I gave away a driver.
Wonder how he's doing.
I don't know.
This comment, you ready for this comment? I watched all 3 parts at 2:30 in the morning and got kicked out of the bed by the wife and had to sleep on the couch. Freaking amazing job. I plan on doing something like this in the future. Yes. Out of the bed because he was watching your videos.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, we've been told by many a person that you're what they go to sleep to.
Well, that's kind of scary. I mean, not really.
For them.
So our concrete on our porch costs just under $4,000. It'd probably be about $6,000 today. Maybe even more.
Oh geez, yeah, $540 a square foot for concrete. We're paying like $8
something now.
Yeah.
So it almost go up a third.
Yeah, and I will say that is one area that you need to remember to add cost for is your porch. It's easy to not give it a whole lot of thought, be like, hey, I want it to wrap around all sides of my house and everything like that, because you think to yourself, oh, like it can't be that bad, like there's no walls on it. But when you are, running the entire length of your house and on multiple sides and stuff like that, you have that much more concrete to add. The materials for the post and beam can get pricey. You have more metal. From a labor perspective, those of you who are going to hire out your structure, for example, we price out the labor on our porches the same as we do for the main structure. So because they do require
There's a lot of detail.
a lot of detail work. So, so that's, you can't neglect that. Now, from a design perspective, back 40, we include the design of your porch with the
just
overall
included,
design. It's
yeah.
just included. You don't get charged more for your porch, but from a actual materials and labor standpoint, you do need to consider that. Same thing with your garages. A lot of people don't allocate a lot of extra costs to a giant shop space, and it just, you need to do that.
Yeah. Man, I broke this down, man, with piers, brackets, flat work.
Cost up considerably on all this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, this says wet set brackets were $40 a piece. Well, they're like 70 now or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy, like in such a short amount of time, how much stuff has gone up. And this right here is like how I used to form up my porch piers. Oh God, that was so much extra work.
Well, you live and you learn. Yeah, so far, somebody's probably going to spend at minimum a third more than what this video will total out at, maybe even double.
Yeah.
And if you are hiring out your
Well, yeah,
structure,
because
it's for sure going to be double or better.
Steel, we were paying probably $65, $70 a square, and it's what, 130?
I mean, I think that contractor pricing is less than that, but I think like if somebody goes to, a home improvement store, that's what
so
you're...
it's double. The steel cost is double too. So the posts were 124 bucks a piece. Those will be more expensive too.
Gosh, I want to say the last time I looked at, what would I be searching for? Because I looked it up like not too long ago.
6x6 treated.
6x6 cedar. And what length did you get? 10 foot or 8?
Yeah, 10. You have to buy 10s.
Yeah, so 10 foot now, what did you, $193?
They were 124.
So 193. They were quite a bit. So cedar
So that's $75 more
per post.
per post.
But I will say, I think that it was over $200 at one point. So cedar has come down some.
I'm finding this interesting. Finding my own video interesting.
I've watched my video.
Oh, so I even did include roof steel for the porch. So we had, that's 48, 8, 16, 24. So 56 and 24, what's that? 56 plus 24 is 80. We'll get the linear foot cost. I like how we're showing the first porch I ever built. That's green treated on our cemetery house. 10,885. 10,885 divided by 80 feet. So that's about $136 a linear foot without the ceiling is what it cost us for materials. And then, do you remember, wasn't the ceiling like $4,000 or something?
And just in cedar. That was
Yeah.
not even like what it cost to put it up.
Oh, look, I even include, geez, man, I was on top of it.
I think in this one you estimated what it would
Yeah.
be at the time.
And so like when I estimated it was $1,745, we paid like,
Double that.
after COVID, it was like $3,500, $4,000. I like our cedar ceiling, don't you? But
I do.
I would say if we did it again, I'd probably just do a metal.
Really?
I don't know. I mean, about $600-700 versus $4,000.
Well, I would say that the cost difference is definitely reflects the overall look. Like, it's not one of those
Right.
things that we just spent a ton more money on and didn't get a much more elevated look than if you go with steel.
No, I would agree with that.
Yeah. I remember back then, cedar had kind of gone up a little bit in price, and so we didn't buy the cedar for anything but the little A-frame because we were waiting for it to come back down.
And then COVID happened and it like over doubled in price.
And so we just waited a couple more years, and then we finally were like, well, I guess it's time.
And if you're saying, well, why didn't you just do steel then? Because the reason is I had always planned on doing a cedar ceiling, so all of my framing work was done for cedar versus steel. I had already hung all the lights, I had already hung all the ceiling fan boxes, speaker wires. So like it would have been a ton of extra work
Yeah.
for me to go back and switch and make steel work. It would have sucked. But we also spent, you know, I mean, it's funny, like we were like, oh, $1,745, we can't spend that. And then we ended up having to spend $4,000.
Right. Yeah. Oopsie poopsie.
Yeah.
But I mean, I like the cedar ceiling.
Yeah, I do too.
I'm fine. I mean, I'd be fine if we went to metal for another build, but it's just one of those elements, like if you're building a more luxury property, that's something you'll probably want to consider doing.
Yeah, a wood ceiling.
Yeah.
It does look nice. So it's safe to say that if you calculated for a porch like the depth we have, so we have an 8-foot deep porch, 9-foot ceilings, you're going to spend 150, in today's price, you're going to spend $150 to $175 a linear foot for materials. Pretty easily,
Right.
I would think.
Yeah.
A lot of people talking about how it transforms makes it from looking like a barn to a house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
I mean, 100%.
absolutely changes the structure. Overhangs and porches like completely change the look of your building. And like, you know, if you're a type of person you want a little more visual appeal to your post frame, design your house and your garage so they're different heights. Maybe one is, you know, inset a little bit like we did, and it just adds a little bit of dimension to give it some character than versus, but on the same hand, it's personal preference. At the end of the day, it's personal preference. If you want a 40 by 80, like Nora's with a wraparound porch, I think that looks amazing.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it all comes down to landscaping. I mean, there's people out there that don't even landscape because they don't want to, and that's fine. Like that's their personal preference. So it literally comes down to your desire, what you want it to look like.
Right, yeah, and with Barndominium, I mean, it's the same concept with any other type of home building. You know, the more elaborate you make something, the more it will cost, and then the simpler everything is, the less money it will cost. So,
And that's what we did with our house. Like when I designed this, I didn't want any tie-ins into the main roofs because I didn't like it. Just adds a lot of extra detailing. It adds not that you can't make it waterproof, it just adds a lot of additional possible, you know, leaking points. So I made our roofs just no tie-ins, wraparound porch, the garage sits lower than the house, kind of insets a little bit, and it just gives it a lot of character in my opinion. So, but I would say I would say in today's world, you're gonna spend, for a porch like this, you're gonna spend $175 a linear foot in materials.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
yeah,
Based on like the cost and what it's gone. I mean, everything's up probably a third based on what I was saying in this video. And that's if you do it yourself.
right.
You might as well double that if you're going to pay somebody to do it.
I think that wraps up our porch series for this. Is self-building worth it?
Yes, and if you want an updated how to build a porch, post and beam porch, we're going to be doing that very soon. We're actually launching that new series here in the next couple weeks, and then it's going to be very detailed. I think it's going to be an awesome video because we know all the things to include and kind of what people are looking for and whatnot. So
Right, but you still get to see him build it all on his own. Yeah, so next episodes, we're gonna be getting back into our talks of storm shelters. We are in storm season here in the Midwest, so this is gonna be a good topic to revisit. So please come back again next week for Is Self-Building Worth It? We appreciate you guys watching.
hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Share us with your friends. and we will catch you on the next video.